Hey, everybody, welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. This is episode 8. Episode 8. It's hard to believe, but it's episode 8 of Brise's Tale. Brise is played, of course, by the ever kind, ever generous, ever adorable Max. Uh, Say hello to the nice folks, Max.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry a little bit for the postponement, but some of us have lives. Some of us have things other than role playing that we do. But I'm glad we were able to reschedule. So, and glad for sticking with us and adjusting to our schedule. So, yeah. And you're in for a treat tonight. We have a little surprise for you.
Oh,
Which
that's right. We sure do. We absolutely do.
yeah.
Um, for we got some new subscribers the other day, so I'm just going to reiterate this is completely sandboxed. Like I may be about a day ahead of our players. It's also completely organic. That is, that we play an adventurer's life sort of day to day, and they're responsible. The player is responsible for picking up leads and clues and choosing the direction that it goes. I'm always been sort of uncomfortable with the artificial terms of sort of a campaign, or there is no campaign. I can't tell you that we're in the middle of a campaign or at the end of a campaign. I can't tell you that because I don't know. What I can tell you is that our adventurer, Brise, I should post a caption for our beautiful Brise. Um, Brise she has goals she sets in terms of seeking out adventures, as well as solving problems in her own life related to adventuring, making her own contacts, all of that. It's all very organic. The more organic or tedious stuff we try to do either off screen or we just sort of roll through very quickly. There is a good deal of talking as she gathers information, um, and so on. But but that's sort of the nature of this game. It is not episodic in a lot of the ways that you see other games being played. Um, so give us an update, um, Max, about what Brees is up to right now.
What Brees is up to? Well, so the last session, well, actually, I guess we could just kind of leave off with what we're doing with Adabeard. If we can kind of skip the runner's vine until that comes up again, right? Um,
Yes.
so really, I was taking care of Brees was taking care of some business in the city of Convergence, tying up a couple loose ends, doing some errands for some powerful people to gain their favor. They might need in the future. And she is now ready to depart on a journey to the I was forgetting where I'm going, to southern Nargas, to the mountains of southern Nargas, with a man named Adabir. And they are planning to locate a demon named Kralum and work to try to free him, so that he will be sent back to his realm, and the person who has been channeling his power, his demon's immense power, will be powerless. And that is the evil sorceress, or evil queen Verilag. So a lot of moving parts, but we're finally starting the journey to hopefully starting the journey soon to locate Kralum with Adabir. So talked to Adabir last session, and he said as early as tomorrow evening we'll be ready to go. And so right now I'm hanging around his place. I plan to just come back the next evening, and we'll see when he is ready to go or not.
And I'm really fine, depending on how you want to do that, Max. I mean, if you think that your character's just kind of worn out and just wants to lounge and so on and process the things that have happened, then that's one route we can go. If you really do want to explore, like we talked about, that might be fun too. But I really leave it to you, just sort of based on what's going on in your character's life and
Yeah.
um, but yeah, as Max said, he's sort of caught in this return of a very powerful sorceress named Verlag, who was imprisoned 5 millennia ago, when the map was very much different. The layout of nations was very much different. She was the queen of a Manish nation, and was able to trap this demon Kralum. And we're not talking about a low level demon. We're not talking about a small demon. We're talking about a demon.
Satan himself.
I mean, we're talking about a demon lord. We're talking about something that's the size of a freaking warehouse, and trapped him so that she could siphon his power and into herself. And she was just an enormous threat. And eventually, forces joined against her 5 millennia ago and trapped her. Brise accidentally sort of cracked open the door of that jail, and now part of Verilag's power is released, and she is seeking to basically free herself entirely. And she believes that Brise is helping her, and Brise is in fact trying, of course, to get out from under her clutches and free Kralum, and therefore, get Kralum back to his realm, which is better for everybody, and get Verilag back to her prison, which is better for everybody. So every now and then, you'll see that Verilag will just pop in and check on how Brise is doing.
Almost forgot about that.
To sort of make sure that she is still on board with this plan of, hey, no, I was wrongfully imprisoned. No, it was, and Brise's research and her own gut feeling is that Verilag is exactly as evil as that prison suggests. And so now she's partnered with Adabir. You can see the caption down below there. And of course, the goal is, let's free Kralum without Verilag's knowledge. And Adabir has a lot of experience with demons. And so hopefully they can do that. And they're presently working on moving to the southern part of the Goblin Nation, like Max said. And they're going to try to find Kralum's volcanic prison. He's chained over the mouth of a volcano, and figure out some way to free him and defeat and thereby defeat Verilag. So, I mean, what do you think, Max? Do you think?
Well, so before we get into any playing, I'll transition to the next slide, and we'll see that.
Yeah. Here's your big surprise, gang.
Yeah. So get ready, everybody. So we commissioned a certain someone, my sister, who's a very talented digital artist. She goes by the name Elliot or Tortillua, if you want to find her online, and we'll give her info later. But she did a nice portrait of Brise here for everyone to look at. So now that empty space is filled with this.
That's right.
Gorgeous picture. Let's get to it. So now you guys can see this wonderful artwork, and we'll give out my sister's information about.
If you have any interest in getting commissioned work and so on, we'll have that. We'll have it up after this post. We'll have it. I mean, after this stream, we'll have it up. Probably at our standby page. We'll always post her information up there. Should you want to look at some of her other work or commission her for projects of your own. And so thanks very much. It looks terrific. I regret that you rejected all of my bikini ideas, but the client isn't always right, and I've come to accept that. It's fine.
Female fantasy armor, and you.
That's right. It needs to be completely revealing, because that's for the purpose of armor.
That's what makes you powerful.
That's right. I think we all know that. It's meant to be a distraction to the enemy, not really.
Exactly.
That's its main tactical goal. I guess since we're.
And if your enemy's gay, well then, that sucks.
That's right. Then butch up and pray. So
Anyway,
as always, well, we're gonna post in the chat, both at stream and YouTube. We're gonna post character notes, character sheet, and Brise's personality. You can click on these and take a look. There's also a donate page if you want to support our stream. And if nothing else, hop to the donate page and look at our ridiculous jokes because they make me laugh. Oh, dear Lord. This is driving me crazy. It's kicking me out of the chat again.
oh no.
And I've got to log in every time. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing that.
Why not?
I know,
Oh,
right?
because you don't. Oh,
There we go. So now I'm in there. Let's see if this will work.
Here we go.
Oh, interesting. YouTube seems to be broken.
Yeah, I'm only seeing it on Twitch here.
Oh, Lord. Are we not on? What is going on?
You have 5 viewers on YouTube. Yes, that's where most people are.
Well, strange. I don't know what the deal is. Gang, let us know if you saw my post with the links. My guess is you don't, because I get a little status thing here that tells me that it didn't make it through. I don't know what's going on. Weird.
Yeah, did not post to YouTube. I'll just post it right now, though.
Okay. Awesome. We just may have to do it that way.
Thank you all for the compliments on the drawing, by the way.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So you've posted it, right?
On YouTube, yeah.
And that's
So we
interesting.
won't see it.
So I am not seeing any of the posts
Oh man.
on YouTube. So gang,
I'm seeing the YouTube post, so something's wrong with your end.
yeah, must be. Or restream, you dirty, dirty bastard. I guarantee it's going to be, oh, well, you didn't log in. Oh, it's going to have me log in again and again. We had that one other stream. But all right. Well, so enjoy the new art. I think it looks fantastic. And despite the lack of a bikini, and we will, aside from occasional scatting, we'll get to role playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts, I lost my thoughts. What I had thoughts, and then I lost them because we were talking about something else. I was looking through my character sheet, basically. So, really fond of the outdoors, and I think I have been doing a lot of work. So I think it's worth just spending some time outdoors, kind of resting. In nature, I'll just have a fire going, maybe do some reading. The other thing I want to try is practice the animal spell, speak with animals. I have the tome with me, so I might just today try that once or twice to go practice.
Oh, okay. Certainly. I mean,
animals.
Right. And the goal here, just to remind folks, he's got to speak to animals spell, and his ultimate hope is that he'll use the spell because when he gets near Crowlam's prison and hopefully recruit a particular magical bird, really more of a holy bird that had helped him once before, find other members of that species and see if he can recruit their help. These are birds that are definitively good as judged by their reaction to an undead creature that Brise and this creature called a priest bird fought together. And the bird was, sort of about a 5-foot high, sort of pheasant-shaped bird with these long pinions coming out of the back. So you probably need to skip the fire, as we discussed. You don't want.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did say I went a ways out.
Oh, that's true. That's true. No, that's fine.
Yeah, I would prefer fire, more comfortable.
So yeah, strike up a fire, hang out for the day, relaxing. This is early morning. There's got to be a bird or something within range. Yeah, eventually a bird, lands on a nearby branch, if you want to try the spell, because obviously, if you want to practice the spell, then this is the way to do it, is have an actual target.
Exactamundo.
So yeah, some form of songbird. Um, what would you like to do?
Well, let me read the spell again just to make sure. So it's control or where is it? Nature's law. Okay. Right. Animal tongues control animal. Okay.
Oh,
And it's
well, buddy, you could actually cast the control form of it. Okay,
right.
have it approach, and then you could affix the band of familiars to it, and you would suddenly have a bird familiar.
Oh, that would be really good actually.
Assuming you want a bird, as opposed to
Bird seems really useful.
yeah, no, I mean,
Now it is a songbird. How like big is it?
it's
Like what
probably a
it's trying
foot
to do.
high,
Okay.
and like all songbirds, it's made predominantly of lead.
Okay.
So
I don't know why I asked that. I was kind of stupid. I was just thinking like bird. Okay. Okay, hold on. Because now I need to see the band of familiars to see how does that work again. Do I use that?
I can hop to that real quick.
Because again, I'm scared of the thing. If it's this bird gets hurt or eaten by something, then that's gonna
That
be
is the thing. In this game, gang, if you have a
if you're not familiar, well
if you're not familiar with how familiars work here, um, then if your familiar gets slain, you are really out of it for a long time. You're penalized for action for literally weeks, because it's sort of a breaking of a very deep bond. Um, weird. I don't have.
I described the band of familiars as a prepackaged familiar.
That's right.
I don't know why.
Clamped around the leg, ear, etc. of an animal less than 10% of your weight, of the user's weight. And then the familiar relationship grows with time, but you can end it without the normal penalty by just removing the ring from the animal. And the familiar bond, its range is about 1,000 feet. So very early on, what you won't, it grows with time, and so you won't have the full advantages yet,
Right.
but it will stay near you, and it's possible with a great deal of concentration you can give it a very simple command, or with a great deal of concentration, if it's nearby, you can see through its eyes. But even those will take a couple of days to take effect.
Okay.
Real
quick, Kevin. So you can't see any of the chat because people are asking you questions. And
let me.
Quinn.
No, gang. I'm sorry, I can't see anything.
Oh, yeah.
Are there questions that I need?
Joking with you about something?
Are people mocking me? Is that the typical? Yeah, I'm gonna try to post something else. I'm gonna see if it'll, because last time what happened was it just suddenly worked after I logged in for the 4th or 5th time. So
yeah,
we'll just see.
Oh, I saw that. Hello was sent to Twitch.
Yes, and so Twitch shows me yes, it made it through, but I don't know why YouTube's having a problem. And I'm logged into YouTube because it's my because I keep that open to my creator channel.
I'm Quinn. I'm not going to read every comment, Kevin. I guess I read that one, but
hey Quinn, I'm glad that you're irritating Max in your attempts to irritate me. It makes me feel better.
Kevin Quinn says he's going to give you all of his money, and everything he owns.
Oh, fantastic!
As well as all of his hospital bills.
That's not cool. That's not cool. So
I have so much power. Anyway, so I'm more interested in at that, finding something that's a little more useful and at the risk of it being killed. Finding maybe a bird of like prey,
Okay.
taking out like a hawk or something larger.
That's going to be harder to get closer to. Do you see the range of the spell?
Um, let's see. The range. Okay, the range of the control beast is 50 feet plus 10 feet per level.
All right. So that would be, for the purposes of this spell, it's going to be casting it from a scroll or from the tome. It means 150 feet.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's going to be tough, but honestly, you can end the relationship. You can end the relationship anytime you want without a penalty. So you could start with this bird.
Sure. And then do I
Um,
get the rings back? I didn't write that down.
yeah, you basically tell the animal to come to you,
Okay.
and then you unclasp the ring, and the ring will grow or shrink, so as to be secure around the animal.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Well, then we'll do that then, just as a practice here. We'll look
um,
at the songbird, pull out my tome, and cast a control animal.
Roll it up, man.
Bada bing, bada boom. 82.
82. That is a perfectly fine casting. The animal gets a brief attempt to resist.
How strong is this songbird?
Well, at a
Bird brain.
93, it's pretty strong.
93.
So you see it momentarily, like it hops away. It keeps looking back. It hops away. It keeps looking back. And then I guess you're trying to control it, right? You're not
Yeah.
trying to speak to it.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to the branch. You feel the connection made that you can control this animal for the duration.
Okay. Okay.
So now just tell it to alight on
Yeah.
your
Can
arm.
I also speak with it, or is it either or?
No, you can also speak with it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell it to alight. Come down here
And
near me.
sure enough, it lands, wherever you point.
Oh my gosh.
Point at your finger.
Hunting is going to be easy.
So it just alights on your finger, all, 85 pounds of it.
Yeah.
And, so heavy. Um,
Cool.
and you just clasp
Yeah.
you clasp the band of familiars on it. There's sort of a moment of sort of transition. It's very strange, but fascinating. It's just a completely different feeling. I would mark it as a point of experience for you. I will give you experience points for that. I don't think there are many experiences similar to making a familial connection. Um, and and now the bird is sort of sitting there on your finger, um, and it kind of alights and sort of stays near you, and it's from now on it's going to stay just kind of near you.
Okay.
Um, so um,
All right. I have a little pet here. Well, actually, what I'll do now is ask it. Is there is there any is there anything of interest in the area? Any structures or buildings?
it chirps and sings in response, but to you it is sort of a legible, sort of a understandable, beautiful language. Um, it says many, many people nests, large and small. Strange nests for horses too.
This is weird. This is weird.
You're like, well, this bird's not smart enough, and
Yeah.
that's the end.
Not up to my intelligence. Are there spells to make animals smarter?
Spells to make animals smarter.
Cool.
I've written a lot of spells for this game, but that is not one that has occurred to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would just spend some time like just kind of talking to it, like kind of getting my what is it for a bird to know, like what is a bird's level of knowledge, kind of just figuring that out, asking about, if it has family and friends, does it know the area, those sorts of things. So we roll
So,
some of that up, or just kind of say I do that for a little while.
well, I mean, I'll give you some of it just to give
Yeah.
you a sense of it. Um, what's the duration of the spell?
Okay, that's good. Well, hold on. So I'm a familiar with it. It's my familiar now, so it'll stay with me and
It'll
possibly
stay with
obey my
you.
commands with
It's
effort,
with a lot of effort,
right?
and
But
soon it'll be effortless. I mean, in 3 or 4 days' time,
okay,
it'll just take a moderate amount of effort. It's always going to stay within that range. It'll always come when you summon. It's going to be more difficult to communicate, to give it complex commands. That's going to be really hard right now.
right.
In some ways, it's sort of perfect that you're just hanging out.
Yeah. So control animal is 1 minute plus 1 minute per level. So it'd be
Yeah, so you've
five
got it for about 11 minutes.
Oh, that's
And so, basically, its world is predicated upon um, food, hiding, of predator avoidance. Um, avoiding danger. It does, huh? It does mention some nasty, sneaky ones that like to shoot at it. Um,
nasty.
it is unpaired. It doesn't have a mate. Um, it is male. Um, and
I should probably write these things down since it's my familiar way to know, right?
you know, it's fine if you forget things about it. We'll just assume that you severed the familiar connection
Oh my.
violently, and now you're at a penalty for all actions for the next 6 weeks.
Uh,
Um, so you ask it about the sneaky ones. Through a series of questions, you get the sense that it's basically a pair of goblin adults that live in the woods. Probably thieves. Um, and they just kind of, live off other people's chickens and clothing on the line and this sort of thing. And that's how they make their living. It's just when they get bored, they'll shoot at birds.
yeah.
Uh,
And ask it follow-up question like, are they, nearby now? Just ask its opinion of that.
um, let's see, 37. It cocks its little head. Um, it says that it's not too many flights up sun from where you are now. And the way he gestured was toward the sun, and it's morning. So up sun for him means toward the sun. Right now, that means east.
Okay. Towards. Nice.
I'm gonna keep sending out test chats to see.
Yeah. Midnight Dawn says, then the bird poops on me.
So true. So true.
The spell bird's eye view, Midnight Dawn says. Well, okay. So bell eventually ends.
Yeah.
And
And it just, hangs around you, and you sort of have a vague sense. Like if you concentrate just for a moment, you get a vague sense of what direction it's in. Um, and you sort of spend some time just like, hey, come here. Well, that didn't work, and you concentrate harder and harder.
come here.
Right. And so soon it lands. You can tell, like, if you reach for it, it's just a little skittish. It hops once back, and then it calms itself, and you can see, okay, this is a relationship that's going to grow. um, and as you know from your early experience with another spell book, there's a whole host of spells that can be cast through your familiar or for the benefit of your familiar.
Right.
And so now, I mean, there really is a reason to put that on your radar. Prior to the invention of radar here in Karandrin. So
to put it on my lookout tower.
That's right, your lookout tower. So
also, I should kind of just look over some of these other spells in nature's law. Plant lore info, yo is the description for that one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Act water. Most is self-explanatory. Tracking. It just says plus 30, I guess, to tracking. Call
right.
Farm.
It's a big bonus.
Speed
That's a big
growth.
bonus in Rollmaster.
Is speed growth like more of instantaneous, or like it'll kind of over time it'll nurture?
I don't have it written down there. Let me look it up in the original.
Yeah. I imagine it's instantaneous, like vines just come up, but
poof.
Soon.
Oh Lord.
Resist elements. Detect path. That's an interesting one. That doesn't have a description.
I think it was assumed that it would be self-explanatory, but I can see
what path?
Players.
The path forward. Just yeah, before these spells might become useful, it'd be good to know what they do.
Right.
Specifically.
Yeah, it takes a plant and basically triples its size instantly, to the extent that it can do so. Right. I mean, like if the tree can't be that big, right, then it can't be that big.
Gotcha. It biologically can. Then the other one, detect path. Is that just like kind of a road or some type of cut through the woods?
Right. Animal path, a road, anything within that radius that is, a possible route of travel that's been worn or cut. And that's, of course, for just getting out of tight jams and making better time.
Right. Okay, cool. So had some fun with that, and my familiars here. Okay, the other question I have is then do I, the familiar will kind of just get food on their own, kind of behave on their own, but linger nearby?
Yes. They'll stay within the radius, if you,
right.
It was, my brother Andrew, when he played, he had this wonderful fox for the longest time. And he named it Mel, and you may wish to give this bird a name. Something about Cocoa Puffs might be appropriate, but so like every now and then you would just forget about Mel, and you're like, oh God, where's Mel? Right.
Right.
And you're like, oh, she's out hunting or whatever, and yeah, she's staying within the radius, but it is 1,000-foot radius. It's 3 football fields around you,
Right.
So
yeah, that was my assumption. So just want to make sure
yeah,
it makes sense. Did I have the 1,000-foot radius written down? Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. This thing eats. Yeah, I don't have a name for it yet. I'm assuming I'll throughout the day maybe I'll come up with one. So
Well, I would certainly never ask the chat to throw out suggestions.
absolutely not. Let's move on. Actually, fantastic idea. Best reason to have a chat here.
That's
Everyone in the
right.
chat, what should the name of my little bird, Reese's little bird, be called? Little songbird. We'll get some suggestions in here, and then we'll keep playing as they come in. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I think after doing that kind of practice, I'll just take the rest of the day to relax. I'll go for a walk, around the area I'm in, just kind of explore a bit.
Sure.
Not really looking for anything.
Sure. Relaxing day. Why don't you erase a couple of meals? We'll bring you up to around noon.
Okay.
Um, um, I'll put you down for. He's studying right now, gang. He's studying a book of spells like that has like kind of the sleep charm kind of a kind of category of spells, because that's how Rollmaster does it. Is sort of a whole category of spells. You don't learn one spell at a time. You learn what's called a spell list, and he's learning first through fifth on a list of spells called Way of the Spirit, influencing people's emotions and their spiritual state, including consciousness. And so, yeah, so it goes. It's a very relaxing day. At the Do you want to switch to reading something else? Do you need to read up on your any of your other spell books? Do you want to read up on any of your other books of lore that you've acquired?
Yeah, I do want to. So I'll read a little bit on mostly my tome, Way of the Spirit, and then I'll read a little bit of my book on the Fae, which is
Of wings and things?
yes, of wings and things, the forms of Fae.
And you just really just gobble that up. Let's
Nom
put you down
nom
for.
nom.
I mean, you're just engrossed in the book, and you're just enjoying the outdoors and reading by the fire. Uh, you know, so you knock out 3 hours on that book. Um, so it becomes clear.
Did I read any from the tome or?
You, yeah, we'll give you another hour on it.
Okay, cool. So 1 hour from the tome, 3 for the book on the Fae. Got it.
And so one of the things that definitely that you're picking up on is that the Fae are like any other race of being, that there are good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's a fair share that simply out of sort of self-preservation and sort of distrust for larger beings, they're purely pranksters out for their own entertainment. But there's definitively evil Fae, which you've had the fortune of avoiding. You've really been very fortunate in finding fairly benevolent fairy creatures. And so, but there are some that are not merely evil and selfish, but that really delight in cruelty. And some of these you had stories you've heard before, but you didn't realize that these sort of creatures were lumped in with Fae. That is the theft of children, um, the killing of livestock, um, and some delight in the killing of children in the sense of making it seem like a tragic accident, spooking horses, causing them to throw a child off, or driving a horse to madness with a child on its back and then off into a ravine.
Yeah.
These sorts of things. There is repeated mention in those tales that you read that good iron is very powerful against the Fae.
Good,
Um,
as in like well-made weapons.
well, not
Literally iron, like the element.
yes, like iron the element.
Oh, okay.
Although, so like there's even reference specifically to dwarven steel, which apparently can carry enough iron and is so well made
Iron.
um, that the Fae avoid it, and it seems also to provide some resistance against their magic. Um, um, the There's also discussion about the fact that dwarves of Avalar, the neighboring dwarven nation, have never cared for the Fae. That good, bad, or ugly, they really are very dismissive and very distrustful of the Fae, seeing them as interlopers and tricksters only. And so it's good to keep that in mind if you're looking for allies, not to bring up the fact that you're allied with some Fae-like creatures.
Gotcha.
Although I doubt the Fae you're allied with give a damn whether the dwarves like them or not. Um,
Yeah.
so brings you to dinner time, just a race a meal. Um,
Yeah.
it's been a very lovely day. No real activity, despite my every attempt to bring you trouble.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, like, wow, that was surprising.
Um,
Happened.
and well, being stationary always helps, because
Right. Tonight.
um, my roles are predicated upon you moving and assuming that the creatures are moving as well.
Right.
I have to give it a penalty when you're
Paths
stationary.
intersect. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so the
And no names in the chat for the bird. What's up? People don't like the name songbirds. Need some names.
no, that's no one's giving you any feedback, huh?
Lazy. If I don't get a
It's
name from every one of you, I'm gonna I'm
look,
gonna not play.
these are valuable Karandrin points you're just wasting. If
Yeah.
he chooses your name,
The first person to give me a name will get 20 Karandrin points, which can be redeemed at any Karandrin store near you,
I
of which
like
there are none. So
I like that a lot. I swear we're gonna figure out a system to do that. It's gonna be
Aaron says, I'm working on it.
Is our pin on? Have you seen?
No,
I'm gonna text him.
he's not on.
I'm gonna tell him he's got to hop on. Um, um, did you see Josh? Is he on?
No, no. I
What a
forget his
jerk.
username, but no, he's not on. I don't think. Poochugger, Dawn, Quinn, and Karen are and Mark as well. They're all here.
So I should probably do another test chat, see if anybody can hear a shout out from me. But although I guess I would suddenly start seeing them. I don't know how that
Yeah,
might work.
yeah. Karen, we have a couple names already. Karen suggests is Dainula, Dainula, and then Poochugger just suggested Deluna, Deluna. I don't know if those are
Mark,
related,
weird.
but very similar.
There's same vibe going on. Um,
Deluna. I'm thinking more of something like Burb, but you know, Deluna is cool too.
um, so, um, I don't know if you want to check in at Adabir's place, or if you want to, if you just want to keep just hanging out. I mean,
I'll check in.
okay,
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of ready to go anyway. So
hike back that way. No sign of your contact. Um, no sign of really anybody around. Just means they're,
They left without me.
what? That's
Just abandoned.
right. I had this dream one time, which I shouldn't take up the chat talking about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So me and my dad were very close, and I had this crazy dream about a guy like my dad. My dad was super knowledgeable. He was a speed reader and super intelligent, super friendly guy. And so the dream was kind of like I was hanging out with this guy who was like my dad, and it was like Victorian America, right? So 1800s. And this guy had this sort of underground complex where he had collected things from all his travels and so on. And he had done something to anger the neighboring town. And they were hammering at his door, right? And this whole dream, I'd spent all this time with this collector, right? This world traveler and getting to know him. Oh, I was hired as his assistant, is what it was.
Mm.
And so I was dressed up in Victorian things. And so the townsfolk are hammering against the door, and I'm worried about them breaking in. And I keep checking with him. And he's like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay, whatever. And I'm very attached to this guy, to my employer. And so I'm running back and forth checking the door. And so in one part of the dream, I go and check the door, and they're actually drilling through the door. And I'm like, oh man, I've got to go warn him. And I run to his office, and he and his wife, he had a wife in the dream, it didn't really matter, but he and his wife had escaped through a secret tunnel and left me alone.
Oh my
And the sense of abandonment and betrayal that I felt was so palpable, it woke me up.
Oh no.
And I just woke up just in a daze and so confused and upset. It was really funny.
I hate those types of dreams. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh man, just awful.
It's like your mind's like the dream is going somewhere and your mind is like knows where it's going, and it's like, yeah, we want to feel sad today. Why am I dreaming about this?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, I do really like. So we have a couple more names. Pooch Hugger said Despito and Canyon, and then Karen suggested Sela, Selah, and I really like this one, Laula, Laula.
Oh, that's neat.
Laula, I think that's might go with that one. We'll see a few more, I guess.
That's what you're leaning to, though.
Yeah. I feel like I've named a character or like some language or something else Laula before. So I'm seeing that, I'm like, it looks familiar, and then
right,
because it's familiar, I kind of like it. So.
There's always the Eric Clapton song, of course, and that's
which one is that?
Laula. That's how it goes when you're not scatting.
Boo 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 boo. Here it is.
Oh, man. 0 days without a scat.
Nope.
So there seem to be goods, like trunks piled up outside, some barrels piled up outside, set outside by the corner of the house that aren't usually there. But it looks like you're going to have to do some sneak to try to convey a message to Adabir.
Well,
or teleport,
or have my bird see what's going on. If I can look through it, it's
probably
not going to work, but it's worth a try.
Sure. So, all right, roll to try to command it.
All right, and I just wanted to do a circle around the house, right, and just see what's beneath it.
Sure.
Roll to command. That's a 61.
It does a circle right in front of you and lands. And you're like, okay. That's as good as my communication is getting right now. We've got to build this connection. Although you can already feel it getting stronger. What would you like to do?
So we're at Adavir's house. Not work. Yeah, I'll circle the house. Just kind of stick to the. I forgot. Is it wooded pretty close, or will I kind of be out in the open if I
There's
try?
some fields that they apparently, keep for the horses and so on.
Yeah.
And so, you can skirt the edges of the fields and stay within, sort of within the edge of the woods, right? So at least you're just not walking in the middle of a field.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I plan to do. Just might take me a little while, but just circle
yeah,
around until I see someone familiar.
no pun intended. Um, so you make it around to the barn, which is one of your, go-to spots, of course, to find your groomsman, whose name I can never remember.
Burra,
Bora.
Burra.
Um, you stop sort of outside the barn, like to the side, and you're just kind of, putting your ear, and you can hear him talking with um, um, another servant, another groundsman, or something of that nature. It's not, of course, Felagel, which gang, if you recall, is Adabir's daughter, who is not very keen on this plan. So. Um, Um, so you just sort of slip into the barn, I guess,
Yep.
make yourself known, and um, the other groundsman looks at you and says, "Can I help you?" And Bora, stops him and says, "She's known to me." And then, um, um,
Burra, my man. What's good?
I was to fetch you this evening at dark. Things move apace.
All right.
Tonight, apparently, he sets forth. The lady is not at all happy, but they've made their peace.
Okay.
She is to stay here, um, and see to the final details of the house and make final assignments for the staff. And you and the head man and some goods are traveling with Adabir, though it's strange he's not called for any coach or carriage.
I mean, he is a very, and me thinking he's an exceptional wizard, and like, of course he has something up his sleeve. His wand specifically.
Yeah, you can guess what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Um, Much of the household will stay on here. He will have a few servants and a coach follow, apparently, in the next few days. Um, but I can't imagine that the master is going to be comfortable on horseback for such a journey. But that's
Yeah.
beyond my knowing.
Yeah, I just say I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
If you'd like, you can make yourself comfortable up in the hayloft. Um, the mistress rarely comes into the barn.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, I guess if it's more comfortable than sitting around. I don't know how I feel about barns, being coming from a nicer family, but
you would have probably, I mean, since you
and I do
knew,
like horses, so
right, and you knew horseback riding early on in your character, which means you probably rode as a child,
right.
and it's a sign of affluence and that sort of thing. Um, to have your children ride. Um, you're a human who sort of grew up sort of in elvish culture mixed with goblin, because that Grattenlau, while it's in Narga, is a sort of a border town.
Right.
Um, Culturally speaking, it's a border town. And so, um,
Yeah. Then I'd be fine with just finding a nice clean space up in the loft and
yeah,
sitting if it's not too long.
yeah, I mean, it won't be too long before it's dark. I mean, it's just a couple of hours. Um, so, So the time passes quickly. You sort of just listen to the conversations below and peek out the what is it called? Or I used to know what that was called. It's the window where they load the hay um, in the hayloft.
Hey,
That's where the winch is, right, to pull up bales and you swing them in
yeah.
to the top. But and so you sort of keep out of sight, just occasionally peek, um, and your songbird hangs out with you. You give it a couple of test commands, and you get a couple to work.
Hmm.
Oh, excuse me.
Sneeze.
That's right. That's one of the big ones that birds love. Um, and and so
I just give it like commands like peck. Oh yeah, it did it. Hop. Oh, look at that. It's like, is that me or is that just the
that's
bird?
is that the is it I think it happened both in The Simpsons and in Family Guy, where they had a dog and it was like, but it wouldn't obey, and so it's like, ignore me. Good job. Sniff that other dog's butt. Yes, excellent.
Excellent.
Good boy.
There you go.
Um, so, so you send it flying from the hay loft to the roof of the house and back, and so you're like, okay, and like there's just this tiny little sense that you feel it flying, like there's this new sensation, this new sort of data stream coming in, and it's clearly this link reporting information from a command you've given it. Um, and and so you're pleased that you're already making progress after most of a day. Um, so um, um, darkness falls. Um, Burra, you can see coming from the house. Um, um, Adabir emerges from the house, hugs Felagel. He and the headman come to stand among what is now a somewhat larger pile of belongings.
Hmm.
Um, um, I should use the old NPC roller. No, I don't think that's going to be the one we'll go with. And tall, red-headed gentleman, young, walks out of the house and seems to speak reassuring words to um, um, to Felagel. He is robed. Um, he carries a wand, and they come out, and Burra is approaching, and he stops in the doorway of the thing, and he calls up to you, and he says, "My lady, it's time. You're being summoned."
All righty. I'll hop down and join him.
Let me drop this new character into the database. Um, do 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 do. That's the wrong way.
He has red hair. He must be a fire mage.
That's it.
This
That's
is
how this game works. Hello, what's going on here? There you go. Um, um,
That'd be an interesting twist if a character had like kind of like ashy hair, and they were like ashy skin, and they were a fire, caster.
yeah.
Might be
Uh,
mistaken, like, oh, do you use ice magic? It's like, no. Myself with fire.
God, why do you always make these assumptions? Um, and so you climb down, you walk over, um, and Adabir is clearly excited, and he said, you know, it's happening. It's finally happening. Um, um, we're going to get this accomplished. And then he gestures to the younger man and he says, "This is Tegrov. He is my new assistant. There will be others, I don't doubt, but he is to help us in this quest of ours." Hmm?
Yes. How
And
much? How much has he been told about the quest? Nice to meet you, Tegrif. I'll just ask it, Tegrif. How much have you been told about what we're doing? Just out of
um,
curiosity, just to know.
I don't know. I don't think you should ask it that way, right? Because you're going to wind up tipping him off that there's something he should know.
Or okay, I guess it'll come up later. Yeah.
Right. You can always ask later in private. Um,
Yeah.
so,
I'll just keep it cordial. I just say, nice to meet you. My name's Brise.
um, and he, oh, do I have his? Where's my thing there? Oh, look at that! I got all that. He gives you a nod and says welcome, and um, he takes you all in, and he says, "Are you ready? And are you willing?"
Yes and yes.
And Adabir concurs heartily. Felagel steps out, I should say, and watches you. Um, Tegrov raises his wand, murmurs a spell. I even have to roll for NPCs,
And we all die.
and um, and there's a flash of light, and you appear in the in deep in the mountains. I mean, these are mountains, snow capped. It's immediately chillier. Um, darkness has already fallen here.
Bird.
Birds with you.
Okay.
See what I mean? It's kind of tough to keep track of, but
Yeah.
we always give you the benefit of the doubt. There's no reason fucking with you. I mean,
I just get like suddenly severed from like, but yeah,
right.
good. I'm glad. That's a good modus operandi.
Yes, yes. I mean, we make it a detailed game because I enjoy it, but I don't want to punish players because I've made the game overly detailed. So,
The reason I thought of that, I was about to make a joke like, I think I left the oven on, and I'm like, wait, no, I did forget something.
I think I left my
Can
pheasant.
we go back?
Exactly.
Have
we ever talked about? Have you ever walked? Because I know you're a big outdoor guy. Have you ever walked by a covey of quail and startled them?
No, I've never seen quails.
Oh my god, dude! When they take flight, it is in a burst, really an explosion of wing.
Yeah.
And I was just walking down to our little gate on the farm, and I didn't realize that a small covey of quail had taken rest by our tractor. It'd been over the winter, and so the grass had grown up around the tractor,
Right.
and we hadn't been plowing yet or anything, so it had just been stationed there for the whole winter. So I'm just going down to open the gate, and these quail take off like 10 feet from me, and the sound is so sudden and so loud. I jumped so high I almost fell down.
Oh my god.
It's such an explosion, and it's so hard to describe. You can get the basic sound if you look on YouTube, but
Yeah.
the actual experience of it, man, it's so startling. It's crazy. Um,
You can only
but
imagine.
quail and pheasant, I understand, do the same thing, and it's deliberate, is my understanding. It's meant to startle prey as it approaches.
Right.
But good lord, I mean, I leapt in the air. It was ridiculous. Um, so, and you are at the edge of this town. Um, the lights of the town are just a few feet away, a few hundred yards away.
Mm.
You're sort of off the side of a road. I mean, it's immediately, there's a boulder, and kids have been writing on that boulder, writing their name and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It suddenly feels very much like home, in as much as goblin cooking and the various spices they use strike you, and it feels lovely, but it's definitely chillier here. You definitely want your cloak about you, um, and um, and there is, before you even gather your wits, the headman has located there's a carriage behind you,
Mm.
and begins loading the things on there. Um, and coachmen come around, goblin coachmen come around, um, and they're curious. They're looking at you. And goblins have these sort of broad faces with these big jowls. They usually have sort of very scrawny chests and then a big flabby gut, and they have scrawny arms with big appendages, big flappy feet, and big broad hands. They're known to be very quick and very clever, and as you may remember, they love verbal sniping.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of the ways they test your mettle, so to speak. Um, and and But clearly they've been hired. Um, and even though they're curious, they're not going to say anything because apparently they've been hired for their silence
All right.
as well. And so the carriage gets loaded. Um, um, Adabir makes for the door. The goblins are just watching him as opposed to like helping him up. You
Right.
know, and um, and the head man says, "Hop to," help him.
Right.
And they roll their eyes and they help the old man up. And then Tegra helps you in, just as men do in this era. And you guys get in there, and
How do I
and
feel about Tegra, by the way?
oh yeah, that's a good one. Roll it up, buddy.
26.
26. Hard to tell. He's kind of a closed book.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
Say again.
is there any way to gauge his talent? Like, I mean, it was a successful teleport, but who knows? I guess his other. I
That's
guess
one of the things that
is his wand nice,
um,
finely made?
very plain looking, but of course that could be deceiving for as far as you
Right. Right. Again, hard to tell.
know. Um, Tagrov and the headman sort of jointly update Adabir on the ride. It's not more than 10 or 15 minutes. The town is smaller than Grattenlau. I mean, Grattenlau was a large town, whereas Convergence was properly a city
Yeah.
of some size.
You know.
And this is a medium-sized town. Um, and Roll for me.
57.
There are lights on up on the slopes, presumably some of the homes of the wealthy, and there's even a couple of castles visible, and they have fires on up their towers and in various rooms in their turrets and so on, and in the main keeps. It is a busy area. Um, the goblins, of course, being a nosy people, are always watching passersby, and so they're given a close eye. But Tagrav and the headman talk about they have a they have quarters for everybody arranged for the next several days,
Mm.
and of course can cancel those if Lady Mugrel is ready for everyone ahead of schedule.
Gotcha.
There is there are two more assistants who have applied to for interviews um, that are interested in the apprenticeship.
Changeling Blaze is here, and as well as our pen. I just realized.
Oh, hey guys! I'm sorry I can't see the chat. We got a little technical glitch. Although I should give it a go again. Let's see if I can see anything. Um,
Kevin, when you were talking about the quails, our pen said, "Now I have next year's April Fool's joke for you, sir."
oh, geez. Seriously, guys, look up a covey of quail taking off, and like you can't help but be startled. It is such a sudden noise
Just turn up your volume all the way.
to scare me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, nope. Still not letting me do it. Still cannot see the chat. Don't know how to fix that.
Well, what you could always do is what I do is I pull up YouTube, have it muted and paused, and then I could just see the chat on YouTube.
Right. So let me see. I can do this here and mute the tab.
You're cut out, Kevin. I can't hear your audio.
Interesting. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can.
Weird. So when I go to that tab, it mutes me.
Do you try opening a new window? Because I have two windows open, one with YouTube and my notes, and another with Restream.
And then mute this.
No, you
All right.
cut out again. Oh,
Wait,
maybe.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So I'm going to mute the tab while I'm talking. Can you hear me or not?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So that works. So I'll hop to YouTube and see if I can figure this out. Although one is, it does beg the question of why I can't, why there is still, what's going on? Show me the chat. There we go. There we go. I wonder if I can close this off to make it just the chat. No, apparently not. So let me see if I can. I'm going to try to just post real quick. So move this over.
Yeah, I see a post from you, Karandrin RPG.
Yeah.
Oh, because you posted in the YouTube. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've got. Oh, I see. So while they watch, actually, all the links are actually down below the image, down below the video.
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube does video below, and also most recent stuff is at the bottom, which is confusing. I always scroll up to the top, and I'm like, why is this so low?
Right. All right. Well, I'll try to check that occasionally, although God knows I'm bad at that.
Right.
The town that you are in is Ballabri. Ballabri. The lodgings are nice. Two interviews are set up for tomorrow. All meals are paid for. There's they turn to you. They tell you have an open tab for drink and for meals. So it's so everyone kind of brings everyone up to date. Adabir talks to you about the fact that that you're not really no one's Lady Miagral is not really expecting anyone for the next couple of days at least. But it's possible that if with enough apologies, she could begin moving people into quarters and that sort of thing, into the rooms that she has on her estate. The estate is outside of town. Um, it is sort of a castle, not built exactly for defensive purposes, and largely you guys will be working outside of the castle. There's no moat or anything, so there's a castle with basically a state around it. And so you guys have been assigned a large guest house, as well as a separate room, separate cottage um, for the research aspect of Adabir's appointment there. Everyone will ultimately have quarters there. Your quarters will be in the guest house. We don't know yet about Aldrif, whether the quarters will be in the guest house or whether they'll be in the castle serving Lady Mivral and her household.
Oh, okay.
Um, so
This is like just role playing vacation, basically. That's what you're telling me. All expenses paid.
It is. It is. I'm trying to convince Karen to take a break, and she's just really stressed out right now. She's really having a hard time switching meds and everything. It's been really tough on her, and so I was like, if I can just find, like, if we can just stay at a hotel here in town for a night and just sort of give her a little vacation, without a lot of travel. So I was looking at stuff, and man, some of the freaking deals out there now. There is a Dominican Republic resort that's normally $500 a night, and you can get it for like $80 a night.
Damn.
And it's
That sounds like a great idea. Karen. Yeah. Kevin has some really good ideas.
And it's only rated 3.5 stars, but if you already have your passport and you just want to do that for 3 days, why not? I mean, geez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you've got your vaccines and everything. I mean,
yeah.
So you guys make it to a really nice inn. It's 3 stories. It's very large. It's right in the center of town. It's clearly of elven make, but it's run by goblins. Trying to think of a name for it that I think would fit it.
The Goblin.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm gonna hop to the chat just to see how many people hate your guts. Yeah.
I also love, like, it doesn't make any sense because it's a city of goblins. So why would they name it after and be calling it like the human?
Right.
The human.
Right.
Oh my god. Terrible.
Yeah, I want to think of I wanted to have a really nice name. You know what? It's called the Everwell. All one word, the Everwell.
That's a good name. I like that.
So the goblins are dressed in their form of livery. That is, serviceman attire. You're swept in very quickly. You're taken to your rooms. The trunks and so on are offloaded. The carriage is taken around back. And you guys.
Now, all my, I guess I'm fine with them kind of handling my stuff, right? Because I'm going to be with them anyway. My magic items and other things.
Well, I mean, you can only imagine what's in that trunk.
Yeah,
and there's
true.
Several trunks,
Good point. If he's putting his stuff in the trunks, then I can put my sacks up there too.
I probably should say. So, I get his name. I'm swapping 2 vowels in the guy's name. Tegrav is.
That's right, Tegrav.
He says. But there's a conversation during the ride that he's clearly been seeking magical ingredients, magical items specifically. Also for Adabir's research, and that's part of his duties. They just, they discuss lessons as well, um, and what areas, that Tegriv would like to begin researching himself soon. Adabir, um, seems to be sort of disinterested in the topic, but you hope that's not his general attitude as a teacher, because you get the sense that these guys, these apprentices, guys and gals, should they be so gendered, will be um, doing a lot of the magical footwork here,
Right.
and a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to the day to day stuff. Um,
Yeah,
and,
it's just a quick side note on topic of like teaching and learning magic. I just started reading Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin,
oh
the
yeah,
classic, and I'm like, can't believe I didn't read this sooner. Like it's just so cool, like the language and the world he
yeah,
creates. The like guy sitting in the tower learning wizardry. He's writing down the true name of every drop of water in the sea, every grain of sand. They say they all have their names, and they need to know all
yeah.
of them to be controlled. And I'm like, man, wizards are they know their stuff.
Yeah, that part of that is part of Hebrew culture, ancient Hebrew culture.
Yeah,
Was,
yeah, yeah.
man got to name everything. Humanity got to name everything, and there was a Hebrew belief, an ancient Hebrew belief, that having giving something a name gives you power over that thing.
Right.
And so it's very similar. And have you gotten to the part or the aspect of sort of magical culture or magical lore in there about like where he basically you're only a wizard so long as you don't have sex?
No, I've not gotten to that.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
Interesting.
I know it sounds like a Kevin joke through and
Yeah.
through, but no, you have to remain a virgin to do it. But yeah, the Wizard of
Oh,
Earthsea
that's interesting. Okay.
quadrilogy is really is
And they're short too. Like I said, the audiobook, and it's like 7 hours, which can't be more than like 200 some pages.
yeah, they're short.
One book.
They're about as thick as my thumb. I mean,
So
um,
that's
I've
really
got the
really
hard
good
copies,
writing.
but they're locked, they're packed away. But
Yeah.
um, so you get situated in your room. It's a nice room, um, and you're like, well, thank God he's rich, and you know, so the so you're situated. Do you think we ought to take a break?
Yeah.
Um,
That would be
and
good.
we'll let everybody go get a beverage, and then we'll come back, um, and we'll be soon on the hunt for Crowlam's cage, as it were, and
Yeah.
so. So, guys, stick with us through the break, and we'll be right back with you, and we will see what there is to see. So, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in just a bit.
Stick around.
Oh. Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you hung out with us through the break. I'm gonna do another test chat here, see if I can get this chat thing fixed. It's driving me crazy. Um, let's do that. No, weird.
Well, no, I
Still
don't know.
nothing.
YouTube and Restream don't seem to get along too well.
Well, at least in terms of chat, it's the second time
Right.
they've let us down. Um, so. Um, you just sort of lay awake, play with the bird. You might crack the window. You do have to keep in mind now that when it's indoors, it won't be able to do its normal feeding. Um,
Right.
and
By the way, I have decided on the name Laula, so thank
All
you
right,
Karen, for that. I do.
all right, I'm gonna write that down. All right. Some other things you picked up from the conversation, the ride in the rest of the way into town, is that a lot of the items clearly are items that deal with reducing the fumbles of spells.
Hmm.
And the discussion, is clearly, it's going to take a considerable effort and a considerable fortune to acquire those,
Right.
as well as greatly reducing the exhaustion of spells.
Right.
And finally, um, finding a physician in addition to the one that Lady Miagral has offered to help improve Adabir's ability to endure the stress of powerful magic. Because his health is just so frail um, that some of these spells will just literally knock him unconscious because of the stress
Not
physically of
worse.
it. You sort of all have that all running in your mind. You're certainly one giant step closer to beginning the search for Crowlam's prison.
Yeah.
Um, um, and You sort of drift off thinking about these things and letting your bird go and feed and come back. And You want to read a bit more in your tome? Is that a goal you have, or do you want to choose another work before you nod off?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll read more of my tome.
Roll for
Wait.
me.
30.
All right, you get another hour in, um, and we are on to day 12, are we not?
It is, the 12th of April.
Yeah.
So I just thought of something funny. Not funny, but if Baralag does find me, she's gonna be like, "How the heck did you get here so quickly?" I mean,
Right.
obviously, my excuse is just, well, I found someone to take me, who knew the place. So, but I thought that would be funny.
Right.
That's just something always in the back of my mind, as a player and probably as Brise, like if she does appear, what would I tell her?
Right.
How would I explain myself?
Yeah, it's of course these magical types. You've told her that you're working with another wizard, or did you not?
No, I did not. All I told her was that I'm going to this area in Nargas. I've heard there's a lot of um, interesting sites around here. And then she
Right.
said, "Oh, I will try to find some of these for you, some maps or exact locations of adventuring spots of interest, ruins, and the like."
Right.
So maybe I should have told her I was working with a wizard. I can tell her that next time.
Sure.
Whatever.
Um, um, you sleep like a rock. Roll for me. Roll 3 times for me.
84,
Okay.
19,
Okay.
and 31.
All right. Wake up bright and early. Um, the bird is already up and is pecking at the window. Um, so it needs to go out and forage. You just crack a window, out it goes.
Yeah.
Um, and and you sort of just get ready um, and do all your ablutions. And what's on the tap for today?
I don't know, Kevin. You should just teleport me to a random city. I mean, definitely find Adabir and ask him what So I guess what it's going to be is us waiting around until Migral is ready for us to move in, and then it's him doing his stuff and interviewing and doing his work and research and
Right.
what he can do. Yeah. So it kind of seems like I should, just out of prudence, go to him and greet him and ask him what's going on and what the plans are and if he has anything for me to help with or to work on. Else I'll entertain myself
The
as adventurers do.
yeah, the you know, you sort of get ready. You leave your window cracked. You guys are on the third floor. You're like, he can come and go from there. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll check on him however I need. Um, and you just make sure your door's closed. And so you step out into the hall, and the head man is up. He's dressed. He's just standing attentively a few doors down. Um, he approaches you. He tells you the master is not awake yet.
Okay.
Um, I usually give him until mid morning, um, but he went to bed last night with instructions for you to simply be available this evening in case Mia Grawl answers that they're ready. Um,
Okay.
Feel free to get the lay of the town. Um, and travel where you will. But
All
if you
right.
could be back this evening before dark, that would be excellent. And you could catch the master awake and get any news. Worst case, of course, we will leave a note for you downstairs.
Okay. Okay. Um, Gotcha. All right. Yeah. No, Tom. Thank you. I will definitely make myself available, um, and I will just go out and explore a bit. So I guess I'll pick up some breakfast at the free continental breakfast.
That free continental breakfast, that
Mm.
free
I love
Karandrin.
being incontinent.
That's right. The free, because we do that, right? Like, well, if you're on the peninsula, right, the peninsula where Ganry was playing,
Right.
that's the peninsula, and they refer to the rest as the continent, even though it's, and even in my own terminology, it's like there are peninsular dwarves and there's continental dwarves. There's
Right.
peninsular elves,
Yeah.
continental elves. Um,
See, everybody, this is the. Oh no! How do I do that? This is the continent. In case
that's right. Pay attention.
there it is. Um, I just had one thought. I want to ask him, thinking about Aldra, who's traveling here. How long might it take him to get here? Just in my mind to know when I might expect him. So I tell him, how far did we actually travel from Convergence? Is it months? By road or?
Uh, Closer to a week. If you
Well,
if you take it, um, if you take the passes through the mountains to Gordovan, the northernmost dwarven city, and from there, after the roads have never been fully reopened between here and the major cities. After the goblins took over, the dwarves blocked them after they um, lost them in the last handful of wars,
yeah.
and so it's a little difficult to get here from that. But it's about 3 days and then 4 or 5 days to make it here. Um,
Okay.
and from here, you could go to Pleston to the west to see the elves. Now, if he's a fool and doesn't know the well-traveled route, he might try to go up through the Vetch into Pleston, but that route is plagued by goblin raiders, as well as having very unforgiving roads and no direct route of travel. Um, but in that case, it could take him 10 days to 2 weeks to
Right.
come here.
Right.
Um,
And for everyone's reference, Aldrich is my kind of semi love interest who is
right.
actually going to accompany me. Obviously not teleporting, but he will travel. He's a tailor. He will travel.
Taylor's not being accustomed to. It's
That'd be
sort of
so hilarious if he does just teleport. It's like, didn't you know all tailors can teleport?
that's
It's
right.
just in Karandrin, that's how it is.
That's right. It's part of the character class. It's
The tailored character. Is that a
our.
misprint? Is that errata? No, it's just
That's just how it is. What are you doing?
gosh.
Um, the new version of Rollmaster, which is if it's out not out now, it's out very soon. They did away with wizards, and now there's this magical class called a dabbler, and you're like, well, it sounds like you dabbled in creating
Yes.
that because why would you leave off a mage in a fantasy? I don't
Right,
understand. I
right.
don't know why.
Very odd. If it's not even like just missing entirely. It's not like an extra thing. It's weird.
I mean, it's they just don't have it. I mean, the essence user now in Rollmaster is called a dabbler. It's very weird, and you can actually go and download their new stuff for free for playtesting purposes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
so
I'll tell the guy, well, thank you very much. That's
yeah,
good news. Um,
so passable breakfast. It's at least while you are not much for food, you are. It's fun to be back with those spices. It just feels very familiar. Again, no
yeah.
pun
Yeah.
intended. Um, so um, what do you figure out into the city, um, out into the wilderness? Um,
Let's check out the city first. Seemed like an appropriate thing to
you
do.
know,
It seems like would be to what's up?
yeah, I was thinking you probably need to memorize a spot to teleport back to.
Oh, good point, actually. Yeah, we'll do that first. Somewhere discreet outside the inn. Um, so yeah, let's do that first. Kind of walk around, get a lay of the inn itself, and where a good spot would be to memorable, but also out of the way.
Yeah. So the stables are on the far side of the inn. They've still got a broad courtyard that you enter through an alley. And so you go deep down that alley, and then behind the stables, it's cramped. So you'll need to remember that. Not to, you kind of want to have your stuff kind of spread out.
Yeah.
But it's a very tucked away place. Um, there were no adventurers, I should say, when you guys arrived last night, which is sort of neither here nor there. Although I guess they could be, you could hire them and helping
Yeah.
what you're doing. But
True.
um, um, so yeah, so you memorize it very quickly. It doesn't seem to take you very long. Um, and a bird alights nearby with a little ring on its a little sort of clasp on its little foot, and it's going to hang out with you all day. Um,
Away from me.
that's right. I'm scared of birds. I do have a friend who's scared of birds. Should really creep her out. Um,
Any type of bird or like a specific genus?
no, it's birds generally. It's
Hmm.
not an uncommon fear. Apparently, I forget what it's called. But
Ornithophobia? It doesn't roll off the tongue.
no,
Ornithology, right, is the study of.
Right. Sesame Street phobia. So big bird phobia.
Only big birds frighten me.
That's right. That's right. So we got some drum rolls from Changeling. That's awesome. Um, um, so the
Is a spot. Streets. What side of?
so yeah, sort of beside the stables of the
Oh yeah,
Everwell Inn.
stables.
But this is genuinely in the mountains. I mean, they just soar up above you. You know, this town clings to um, terraces along the slopes. Um, so the streets are winding and not convergence was somewhat this way, but this is dramatically steeper. Um, and I mean, so you have to take care going around corners, listening for wagons and carts coming hastily the other way because you can just get creamed.
Right.
Um, and your father taught you long ago when walking in town. Around a corner, you always clutch your purse tightly, your coins.
Yeah.
Not like Quinn clutches his coin purse. That's disgusting. But so the um, clearly the feel of the build here is old dwarven and old elven,
Mm.
replaced by newer goblin. Um, there is a greater sound of laughter here than in Manish towns and Elven towns and in Dwarven towns. The goblins are always poking fun at each other, always trying to get one up on each other, um, and here that if you don't haggle, you will get royally screwed because they just take it as an invitation to. If you're not going to challenge my price, then it may have to go up. Um, it's a point of pride to outsmart one another. Um, um, so yeah, the town is as interesting and full of life. The You're not sure which estate on the slopes might be Lady Miagraw's, but obviously you could ask. Um, but you just sort of walk down the main road the large road that you came in on, and that the Everwell is on. And
Yeah.
what would you like to do, sir?
Yeah, I mean, for a little while, like an hour or so, definitely just take in some of the sights and kind of reminisce a little bit about my childhood.
Yeah.
In Goblin City, I feel like that would take some time. So, if there's any, or like market stalls a thing, like to look at,
Oh yeah.
the stuff that's being sold and any kinds of um, or food that's being vended. I mean, I guess I probably wouldn't go for food, but definitely look at any kind of crafts or other things.
Um, there's still some like cold weather clothing being sold here because the slopes are still snow capped, and you could see a different part of these mountains from your homeland, from your hometown, and
Yeah,
there's never a point at which they don't have snow.
right.
They're that tall.
Yeah,
uh,
it's like the Rocky Mountains.
right. And there's a lot of trapping and a lot of furriers and things like that available. This is clearly an upper end of town. Um, there are jewelers. Um, not many, nothing really tending toward adventuring, nothing really tending toward the esoteric. Maybe the most esoteric thing would be a bookshop. And there, the back of some of those bookshops, they deal with a little bit of
Well,
specialty items,
yeah,
Um, but um, but yeah, so you spend your time just getting the layout at least of this major road.
yeah.
Um,
One thing that does come to mind. I know I have nicer clothes, formal dress wear for Convergence, and I guess we're a week away, so I don't know if that would differ too much. But in the fashion here, like seeing other people, what would I get? Like maybe I should get a nicer clothes for this kind of like area, this like place. I don't know if
If you think
that comes to mind.
for town wear, you think you're well suited.
Right.
What you're really wondering about is your meeting with Lady Meagral.
Exactly.
There, you would want to be um, very well appointed and really put down some gold for some attire.
Right.
Um, and we can kind of just wave a wand and say that you get that done. You get that on
Yep.
order, and then after the fact, you and I can off screen take care of that.
I will write that down. Could definitely visit a tailor, get some very nice goblin era, goblin fashion
Well, not
clothing.
merely the fashion; it's stepping up what it's
True.
getting this,
That
you know,
too. Yeah. Yeah.
high quality stuff that um, that's meant to impress and be suitable for meeting nobility. Um, so, man, YouTube is just never going to let me on, is it?
Our pen I put r/birds aren't real, which I'm really curious to look up now and really.
Oh, that is a whole. You'll enjoy that.
I was
It's
about to say, if I go there, is there one member, which is our pen, and you?
no, actually, he introduced it to me as well. It's this joke movement out there talking about how there are no actual real birds in the world,
Oh my gosh.
and it's sort of this sort of big spoof kind of thing, but it's pretty funny.
How does that even work?
I know it's they've
We
got a
gotta
whole
see
story
that. Yeah.
behind it. Um,
Gosh.
so, um,
Look at these clothes, high quality.
but
Session.
given how we're tending, I'm wondering if we wrap up early tonight and then we get you to a point of more of less errands, right? And we can do some errands this weekend if you've got time.
Yeah.
And we could because it's close. It's only about half an hour early right now. And then we can have you do some shopping, and we can knock all that stuff out, and then we may even do the meeting with Adabir, so that and we can just update the gang, and then and proceed from there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, it's funny the position I'm in because I could just go on an adventure and do my own thing. That'd be exciting, but then I'd be leaving Adabir behind. So
Right.
I gotta stay behind and kind of, like you said, just role play some of that more
Right.
mundane stuff. So yeah, let's do that out of session.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you let's talk about our talented artist here. Why don't you put on in the chat if you guys want to see more of her work. We want to thank her again for the terrific work she did. Max's sister is, as you can tell, a talented digital artist. And so here, if you just want to see more of her work or talk to her about commissioning some of your own, we really appreciate her help with that, and I hope we'll get support, down the line, and we'll just get more and more drawings from her. Um,
Honestly, yeah, I'd love to do that.
um,
Uh,
so, um,
made it better. But yeah, her name is she goes by Elliot or Tortilloa. You can find posted a link there of her art station. Her last name is Dunovitz, no relation. I don't know what we're talking about. Where's the eraser? There we go. But yeah, she's my sister, and really grateful for the stuff she did. It's awesome. So yeah,
did you post it?
I did in YouTube.
That's my YouTube.
You know what? YouTube, it's filtering out links. YouTube is too smart. I did it before I posted a link, and YouTube the filter catches it, right, and then just thinks it's spam. I don't know how to get rid of that. If I do that, did that go through? Here, I know what to do. Watch everyone be amazed at how I outsmart YouTube. That still didn't work. How do I make it so that YouTube will see it?
Hmm.
Anyone see the links I'm posting?
Since it's my channel, why don't you send it to me in private chat and let me post it?
Sure.
Let's see if
Good
that.
point. That'll work. Oh, I didn't think about that. That's weird. I don't know why my stuff isn't going through. I even took out all the slashes and dots, and it's still.
Right.
Oh, there we go. That one went through. Artstation.com/tortilla. And if you
Oh,
want
did it go through?
well, you post yours because yours is an
Okay.
actual link. Mine is been regular expression.
I got you.
Yeah.
So
That's funny. YouTube it sees the slash and thinks it's a link and does not post it. Which is good because they're horror stories of like, here's a kid-friendly stream and then just some bot comes and starts posting links to like outrageous sites, so
yeah,
it's there for a reason, but it's annoying.
and I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it in my general chat and it'll send it to Twitch. Also, all right, gang. Well, I think we're gonna end a little early tonight, so we can wrap up. We didn't exactly know how this was going to shape up. Otherwise, we would have done a lot of this beforehand. But at least we're now in a position for Brise to begin the search for Crowlam's prison in earnest. They're positioned. She's equipped, and the major players are getting their houses in order, ready to take action and put a plan in motion to do a thorough search for where this demon is chained above a volcano. Um, and so, thanks you all for watching. Thanks also to Elle Dunovitz for her terrific work. We're going to get her some credit up on the our farewell and our taking a break screen. We'll get that done as well. As always, remember to check out Max's YouTube channel there. If you enjoy discussions of video game music, its effect on storytelling, and the arrangement of video game original soundtracks.
Guys, I've got I just hit 101 subscribers. All right. I was
Oh,
about
that's
to say I'm almost
fantastic.
at 100, but 101.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
I need 900 more, and I think I get like some reward from YouTube or something. So let's.
Yeah, you get 1,000 subscribers over the
At the
course of
age
the
of
year,
80, I'll be able to.
and then 4,000 hours of viewing is my understanding. Or is that right? I think that's right. 4,000 hours of viewing, and then you're eligible for the monetization program.
Nah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So, and it's funny, you can't turn on the monetization. You can turn on your channel. You turn on to be notified when you qualify. That's all you can do. And so I've turned it on, but we're quite a ways from that. But hey, we're enjoying doing it. I don't care if we ever hit it. Okay, I do care a lot. So you can see down at the bottom of the stream, of course, Max's notes and so on. Those are updated live as we play. So you'll see the most current stuff. You can backtrack if there are elements you've forgotten and you don't want to go back to the videos and try to find a particular location to remind yourself of details. As always, thanks for watching, and let your friends and family know. Like and subscribe and all that great sort of stuff. Hop to the donor page if you want to send us a little money to help us pay for our little expenses and my poor sore head. And we just thank you so much for hanging out with us on an irregular time, and we'll be back next Wednesday with episode 9, and hopefully Brise will make some progress uncovering the location of Crowlam's prison. Say goodbye to these nice folks, Max.
Well, you did such a good job of it already, Kevin. I don't see any need. Good. Thanks, everybody. Again, thanks for sticking with us on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Hope it didn't ruin anybody's plans. But yeah, next week we'll be back on Wednesday. And yeah, just have a good night. Thanks for coming out and seeing us play.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you hanging out in the chat with us, and we'll see you next Wednesday. We're working on getting maybe a replacement group of role players together to take another day since Ganry is on hiatus, either indefinitely or permanently. And we'll keep you updated about that. So thanks again. And next Wednesday will be Brise episode 9, and we'll see how that goes. But thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.